Hello and welcome to my podcast. My name is Nicole and I'm the brains and the beauty behind Yarn Craft by Nicole. And today I am filming on the road. This is actually my parents' house. This is the bedroom that I grew up in that I share with my sister. And currently it is filled with toys for my daughter, which is really cute. My mom legitimately spends a chunk of every Saturday shopping for Melody, whether that's clothes or toys or books. I think she said that she's already purchased 70 books. Most of these are thrifted, and so she's getting some very unique finds, which has been a lot of fun. And yesterday, I think they read 2 or 3 books just because they have so many to get through, which is very cute. But yes, let's get into it. Today I am wearing the first garment of 2024 that I have finished, the first pattern test of 2024, and that is my Canyon Crewneck. And actually, and I'll give you like a little close-up of that texture. It's so good. As I am releasing this on Monday the 4th, currently recording this on Saturday, this comes out on March 4th. So if you like this pattern, I really recommend it. It works up very quickly and it uses worsted weight yarn. I used Winter Glow by Hobbii and it worked up beautifully. A lot of the testers used Scarfy Light, which is what the pattern was written in. Also works up really pretty. Some people did solids. I think if I did this one again, I would make it in a solid. And I'm kind of curious to know what it would look like in almost a chunky weight. I think that would be really pretty. I've got a lot of orange yarn that I bought for a kit and a cardigan, but I don't know that I'm ever gonna make that cardigan again. But I might make like another one of these in a chunky weight in a bright orange or like a burnt orange. And I think I would feel very much like Velma from Scooby-Doo, and I think I would embrace that. But I really like this a lot. Stacy from Bah Humble wrote the pattern and I'm a big fan. It's relatively simple stitches. It's easy to get into a rhythm with it. And I really like the fit. With this gauge of yarn, I was worried that it would feel too oversized, but I'm a big fan of the way that it fits. Yeah, looks really good. It's airy enough that it's not super warm, but it does provide a nice layer of comfort and cozy. So I'm a big fan of this. And I'm really happy that I was able to start and finish a pattern test. Granted, this was someone who takes the time to know how long it really does take to make a pattern in a larger size. So we had plenty of time to make it, but I'm still pretty proud that I was able to make it with a newborn. Like that I was able to start and finish it. Granted, I'm not working outside of the house right now, so I did have the time I had at home I could use for that. I wasn't having to juggle that with a job, but I'm still pretty proud of me for getting this done. And I really like the way that it worked up. And I think that this will be a staple, especially this fall, that I'll just kind of live in this, especially, I don't know, with a t-shirt and some boots and just cozy vibes all over the place. This is the only thing I have finished, but I do have several whips to show you. The first one you might have seen if you watched the video that I released last Monday. See if I can get it to focus without blowing out. For this cute little pinwheel square. So it uses 4 half and half closed granny squares, and I show you how to do that in the video. And I think it's pretty simple, pretty effective. Gives you that quilt look. And I'm actually going to be making a cardigan with quilt squares. So I'm kind of filming these as I'm making some of the different motifs, but I'm gonna have like a large quilt square block in the middle, and then around the border is gonna have a bunch of these pinwheels in different colors. I'm using Happy Place yarn from Hobbii, and this was a collaboration that they did with Tony, and I'm a big fan of this yarn. It's a half and half cotton wool blend, It works up really well. It feels really nice when you're stitching it. So very happy about that. I use the colors, I think blueberry and then almond melange, which honestly sounds like a delicious scone. But yes, big fan. And you'll see more of these coming at ya from this channel. Okay, what to start with next? So I was very ambitious and I decided that I wanted to make my husband something for his birthday. His birthday is March 9th. Today is March 2nd and I haven't finished it. My mom's birthday is March 10th and I have another project I want to make for her, which I haven't even started, and it's a cardigan. So we'll see if it happens, but I'm hoping with the fact that we're staying with my parents for over a week, and that will mean lots of time where someone else is holding Melody and someone else is feeding Melody, that I can be really speedy with my stitches. But we drove from New York down to Georgia, so we stopped a couple of times to see friends and to stay overnight, but I had a lot of crocheting time in the car since Vaughn was doing most of the driving, so I was able to finish the back panel of his present. So this is all Tunisian knit stitch. See if it'll focus. And I'm really loving the fabric of this. He does not watch these podcasts, so it's fine for me to tell you what this is going to be. It's going to be a sweater vest, and I'm using the same measurements that I used for his sweater that I made him for Christmas. I did go a little wider on this than his sweater because this fabric is going to pull down a little bit more, and I didn't want to lose any of the width as it like naturally drapes down a little bit more. But I'm very excited about this because there is a Spider-Man video game that came out last year. My husband does not play many video games, but he liked this one, and then he's a big fan of like the Star Wars Jedi video games. But he loves a good story video game. And this one, as you went through the story, you played as both Miles Morales and as Peter Parker, and you would collect different costumes. I think that's the right term. But there was one for Harlem called City Souls, and it has this cool gray sweater vest with a Spider-Man patch here and a big one on the back, and then it has a fedora and like kind of higher waisted pants and a chain. Like it's a cool outfit. And he said as we were watching this, that would be a fun cosplay thing to do. And I was like, I could probably make the sweater vest, so that's what I'm doing for his birthday. So I finished the back panel of it. I think the front panel will go pretty quick as well. And once I do that, I'm just gonna seam it and then do ribbing. So I'm pretty confident that I can get his done by his birthday. And I think I'm just gonna find patches for the Spider-Man logos. If I can't find them, or if I can only find like a small one for the front and maybe not a big one for the back, then I'll just stitch it and then it'll be fine. But I think I could do it for his birthday. I think I can do it. I'm less confident that I can finish my mom's for her birthday, but I do have the yarn, which I'll show you here in a second. But the yarn I'm using for this, I found at Pick Up Every Stitch, which is a local yarn store in Mount Kisco. I bought some yarn online, but I bought it like when I was doing a late night pumping session, and I just didn't buy enough, and I ordered it offline, and I didn't think that I would be able to get more of it before I needed it. So I bought this from Pick Up Every Stitch, and I like it way more anyway. So it's Illumani. Let's see if it'll focus. Maybe if I put, there you go. And it is a 85% cotton, organic cotton, and 15% alpaca. And it is so dreamy soft. Like, I love it. And I'm using a pretty, like you can kind of see daylight through it. It's a pretty open weave because it's something that's gonna go on top of other clothes. I knew that it didn't need to be crazy warm, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't bulky. So I'm really a big fan of this. No pattern for it, making it up as I go. Using Tunisian knit stitch. It's a fingering weight yarn, on a size H hook. And I'm a big fan of this. I've started the front panel. I think I might have gotten a row done on it in the car yesterday, but I'll be working on that again today. So very excited about that. Really hoping that I can finish it by his birthday. I don't think I'll need to block it, which is the other thing that is working in my favor. And yeah, like, and for my mom's too, I'll show you the yarn for that here in a minute. I also don't think I will need to wet block it. I think I can steam block it and it'll be fine. The other project that I worked on that is also in a time crunch is the next baby blanket. So I'm really enjoying this. I haven't worked on it since I started Vaughn's sweater vest. It's another Tunisian project and it's so stinking cute. So this is just a chevron, Tunisian simple stitch and a chevron. I used Tony Lipsy's, I think it's just called How to Do the Chevron, How to Do the Tunisian Chevron, as the framework for this. And then I just made it as wide as I needed to within that stitch count. And I'm using yarns that are in my stash. I think I showed them before on the podcast, that I had bought for maybe a garment for myself, but I think will work even better for a baby blanket. It's Joann's KNC yarn using Joshua Tree and cream. And I'm just doing 1 row stripes, except for the top and the bottom will have 2 rows of the cream. So really liking this. It's DK weight. I'm using a size K hook and I'm a big fan of the way that it is striping up. I love it. This I need to have finished by the 11th and it's not finished yet. So this is another thing I need to do. However, this is for friends of ours that we're going to see in Tennessee, and technically I can do some of it in the car on the way to see them since it's a 6-hour road trip to go to their house. So we will see. So far in the car, I've been riding predominantly in the back with Melody, and then my husband has been doing most of the driving. So I've gotten a lot of stitches in the car. And Melody's done great in the car. She's been a real trooper. She's like 2.5 months old. So everybody that has asked how she's doing, and then we've said, yeah, she's doing really good. They're like, this is the easiest it will ever be for you to travel. As soon as she gets bigger, she's not gonna want to be in the car seat as long. I'm like, yeah, we're just gonna soak it in while we can. But she did great. She slept a lot the first day, and then last night, once we got here, she slept really well because she had a little bit more of a comfy bed than the pack and play where she's been sleeping as we've been visiting friends, but it's been so good. So the last thing I'm going to show you is yarn from my mom. Because I liked using Winter Glow so much for this sweater, I bought some for my mom and I got it in their solid. So this comes in 200-gram cakes. The solids only come in 100-gram. No idea why, but they do. So my mom has always liked my Pebbled Path cardigan in the green that I did it. And she's told me that she wants one. And I asked her what color. She said either green or red. And I looked at tons of reds and tons of greens. And I was thinking that I would be using Vintage by Barocco, because I've done that for a cardigan and it works really well in that pattern. But there just wasn't a green or a red that I loved, that the places that I was looking online had enough to do a whole cardigan. So I went back to Hobbii and I got this green, and it's pretty much the same green as what I used. I used a pure wool, and it didn't have a lot of treatment done to the wool when the wool I chose, and it does felt, or not really felt, it does pill a decent amount. And I wanted something that was a little easier for her to take care of. So this is more of the Winter Glow, and it's a 50-50 almost. It's a 51% wool, 49% acrylic. It's a little thick and thin, so it's still gonna have like a real slightly rustic look to it, but it should be a little bit easier to care for, and the color is great. She's gonna really like it. So I'm hoping to get started on this. I think what I'm gonna do with all of these projects, for the most part, is I'm gonna try to be pretty monogamous with them. Like, I usually have more than one thing going and I rotate so I don't get bored with anything. But like, I just wanna knock out the sweater vest and then I wanna knock out the cardigan. So we'll see. And this should be it should be relatively easy to do. I've made this cardigan 4 times already. And then, so this will be the 5th time I've made it. I have one for myself and then I've given away 3. So I know it pretty well, and it uses a lot of half double crochet, and I just think it's gonna fly in this yarn. So happy with it. I'm excited to get that started. And that wraps up the yarn things. So one of the exciting things that happened in the last 2 weeks is that I hit 1,000 subscribers, which is mind-blowing. Thank you so much for anybody who has subscribed, who likes these videos, who has shared the videos, who's commented, all of it, or just watched. Like, thank you. Thank you so much for all of that. It feels like a big milestone, and I like to celebrate big milestones. So I'm gonna do a giveaway after our road trip, and here's why. I decided that since we were going to be traveling, we were going to be spending a week here in Georgia, a week in Kansas City, checking out places in between, that I should just pick up some fun yarns as we travel, and then when we get back, I can have this really cool yarn bundle full of goodies that I can show you and that I can give away. So that is the plan. I have already bought a skein from Pick Up Every Stitch in New York, and it's a gorgeous skein of yarn. I'll show it to you when we get back home. But as we are traveling, I'm going to be picking up more. So I will give you more details about the giveaway, but that's what I can't let go of this week. Thank you so much for everyone who has done anything to support this channel, and we'll have a big giveaway to celebrate. And with that, I will wrap things up. I will see you again in about 2 weeks. Bye, guys.